friends, welcome back to Prakhar Talks Sports. I hope you all have checked my previous video. It was a conversation with football coach Preetham Mahadik. Preetham's story is inspiring. He is a coach from Mumbai and how he has inspired his team, Mumbai Knights, to achieve a lot of success in football. It is really great to know. So you can check that video. And in this video today, we will be talking about winter sports. What we will get to know what is happening in India in winter sports, as I will be having conversation with Mohammad Arif Khan. Now, who Mohammad Arif Khan is? Well, he's a skier and has he has represented India at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, and he has also qualified for the next year's Winter Olympics. And he is into skiing. He comes from Jammu and Kashmir. His story is inspiring because he has had to endure a lot of struggle to pursue his career in sports, considering the conditions that has prevailed in Jammu and Kashmir for past a few years. So we'll get to, but despite all those struggles, Arif has had the honor of representing India in Winter Games. So we will get to know what his sport is. We will get to know Arif's journey and what can be done to make India better in winter sports. So my video will be about all of that. So let's get right into the video.
Very tough out there. Gentleman has been courageous and brave from the get-go in this World Championships.
Arif, thank you so much for joining me and really grateful to spare the time for this interview. So I would like to start this interview by asking, how did you start skiing?
Okay, I actually had like family background related to this winter sports and the tourism activities in Jammu and Kashmir, Gulmarg.
Mhm.
So I actually live there. So it was back in 1994 when my father took me to Gulmarg for kind of like introducing me to the snow sports. It was more of a like in a part-time activity after school because normally the schools were shut in winters for like longer period of time due to the weather and the snow around. And then he already had a setup there, a ski shop that was providing ski equipments to the tourists on rental services, on rental basis. And as well as he would teach the tourists who would come that time for skiing or for enjoyment. So this was the initial time, and then later on, this was usually a hobby to go skiing in winters when the schools are off during the summers. There wasn't much to do in summers as well, except for the school. So why this is how my journey actually began with the winter sports.
Okay. So often in your interviews, you have mentioned the role that your father has played in your sporting journey. In one of these interviews, you said he even had the offer to shift to US. So what was that about? And what role has your father played in your
Yeah,
sport?
my father actually he works as a like company tour guide to take people on the Himalayan tracks, even in Kashmir as well as in Himachal and Uttarakhand. So where he had like a lot of people coming from overseas during the summers to trek, go for the expedition on these mountains. So he had developed some good connections over the years, and due to his hard work and skills, he was offered by a company, Aspen Squares in the US. His name was Harold Green. He's a current billionaire there to come and settle in the US because they understood that there is an ongoing conflict in the region and it might be longer or it might not let happen. People develop or kind of like will restrict people to enhance their skills or use their experience for the further development. So he had a great initiative, like he started offering him jobs, green cards, move with your family to US. But Unfortunately, that didn't happen because my father loved the land and he loved the mountains, he loved the country. He decided to stay instead of leaving.
Mm,
And these were the opportunities that had come to us, but we did not leave the land.
mm,
We actually decided as a family to live, to suffer whatsoever is in our way there, and
mm,
we continued.
mm. Okay, so do you recall when was the first time you participated in a skiing competition?
Yes, it was at the national level. It was back in 2003. So I had started earlier competing in the local events. Even
Mm,
I was age, I don't remember, maybe 12, yeah, something like that. So I had competed in the local district and state levels, but did not appear in the nationals due to my age. But when the age criteria
mhm,
came in, and then I had an opportunity to participate in the first national championship in it was national games in Ori, Uttarakhand. So I started by winning the medals. So even though I won a silver medal, but it wasn't like a big margin. It was very
fine
competitive with the
margin. Yeah.
fun. Yeah, it was a good
Mm,
fight.
mm,
And there, my father understood that I could go further with the
mm,
sport because that was the first national championships, and I had performed better than all the other athletes who were traveling with us as a team. Like even there were senior athletes, male and female. None of the athletes had won any medals except two of us. One was among girls, one girl, and then the boys as a sub-junior athlete, and the rest of the team had to go back empty. So then we had the small association back in the state as Jammu and Kashmir Winter Games Association, and I was pretty much connected with them, and they saw there is a potential, but there was like there were limited resources in terms of training, infrastructure, or financial assistance. It was very short, very limited. It was just depending on the family. There was no sports system back in the days. So because like Kashmir, where we had this long time conflict, and things were actually restricted to civil issues. So
mm,
this sport, education, and other stuff was like not on the priority.
mm. Okay.
But
So,
I had this opportunity that
mm,
we had a small setup on a place where
mm,
all the sports would happen during the
mm,
winters.
mm.
This was my base, and I used that base to gain skills and train more, and then start from there to a very high end.
Okay, so your sport is not well known in major part of the country, despite you representing India in one Winter Olympics and now going for the second Winter Olympics. But your sport of alpine skiing is not popular in most of the Indians don't know. So could you please explain what your sport is and how do you, what your sport is exactly?
It's actually it's called alpine skiing.
Yeah.
So we do normally like people, it's recognized by ski racing. So
Okay.
it's one of the biggest sports in the world. Like if
Mm,
you would see, let me explain it in the way first that if you see wherever there is snow,
mm,
this sports definitely takes place. And in Europe, it's quite famous, very
mm,
famous to a very high end. As compared to other sports, this can be one of the major sports in the world. But the thing, why is it not so famous in India? Because people lately started introducing it.
mm,
And we had a place where it was developed back in 80s, like Gulmarg. So
mm,
Gulmarg, and then why it was not introduced, maybe Kashmir was not known for so much of winter tourism before.
mm,
So, but since we had this Gulmarg gondola second phase that went to all the way to the top, then we had these foreign people, foreign visitors coming over in winters in thousands of in number, in large numbers, and they actually picked up spreading the information on the internet as well as introduced it to the local Indians, and where this sport actually started to get popular. But we had like the games happening. Most of the all the We had Himachal, we had Uttarakhand, we had Jammu and Kashmir, then there were people from the army teams.
Mm,
So, but this was not majorly covered by news, social media came late.
yeah.
But what helped us most to bring the sport to awareness was the foreign people that started traveling to India, especially to Kashmir. And then situation had calmed down while getting better, and the things were slightly opening up to the domestic people.
Mm,
And later on, it got popular,
mm,
but still so expensive.
mm,
That's why, which is one of the reasons that it's not introduced to the local domestic population because of its expenses. So the equipment costs a lot, the travel costs a lot, the infrastructure to build costs a lot. But it also has a great advantage that it could bring the economy in a level up way. I would say
okay.
like the Europeans have like $35 billion economy a year.
Mm,
America itself has a $12 billion economy from intersport. So similar way, India as a country has a huge resources. Let's talk about the Himalayan range mountains. Let's talk
yeah.
about the mountains in Pir Panjal in Kashmir and Uttarakhand. And all these mountains and the places around receive snow has the landscape and has potential to develop such infrastructure and invite people from different parts of the world, also within the country, that can actually come and do this sport. It's a leisure, like, well,
Mm,
it's also part of the tourism.
mm,
But it is happening, but it will take some time because it is expensive game.
mm. Okay. So you come from Kashmir, so how challenging it was for you to pursue your sport when the state itself was going through a turbulent phase?
Yeah, quite challenging. It was a mental, I would say sometimes you would feel mental torture. Even now, sometimes when the situation goes bad, from
Mm,
good to bad,
mm,
you are kind of mentally tortured by seeing what is happening, what is going on, where actually you want to see yourself, your state, your home. You are not seeing it there. Even if you have reached to a level where you would actually inspire the other young people towards, but somehow you get also disappointed. There were times when we couldn't see anything else other than just ourselves, our bodies, because you have only one thing to do, that was education. So you
mm,
go to the school, you come back home, that's it. This
mm,
was the task most of the people would do.
mm,
And definitely, we can say yes. Over the years, the situation improved. The developments even were so restricted. Like hardly you would say like back in the days you have any roads or you have any bikes to go around. There was no exposure to anything which is
mm,
called like as a modernization. But I don't know, like somehow I had this dream because we had Olympians going out from India most of the time from Himachal army team because they had the resources, and as a Kashmiri athlete we didn't have much to do. So we had the only resource to fund ourselves was the tourism. My family were dependent on the tourism. If tourism comes, we could earn, and also from that earnings, a part of which would be kept for my sport. So, but sometimes if things could go wrong, then we had no earnings, we had no tourists, and then I had to actually stay back and wait and see when winter comes in India or in Gulmarg, snow comes, then I can train there. If not, I had no means to travel overseas to go across. And there were times I had decided to quit the sport because there was no such an environment where you would be a sportsman. It was very hard, very difficult to even see yourself as a sportsman, as professional sportsman. You need a great environment. You need an atmosphere where you can have your mindset focused towards the things that you do.
mm,
But the best was that these Olympians who were there actually had inspired me that I really want to go and represent India at the Winter Olympics and also bring India to a new imagination of winter sports destination, and I could introduce India globally as a winter sport destination because I had seen people visiting, coming from Europe, US, and other different countries to Gulmarg and ski the mountain, and they would love it because it's one of the best terrains in the world. And but was not fully or was not introduced or advertised to most of the people in skiing community in the world. And I had the opportunity, I worked towards it, and there was time I finally had that moment where I reached to a level that world actually recognized you. The world means the skiing community of the world recognizes you as a winter sports athlete and coming, having a background of the mountains, the snow, the land, and now officially India is definitely seen as a winter sports destination.
Okay, so it's tough to imagine what you have gone through when your state was not in a peaceful situation. Okay, so moving on, what role has Sanja played in your sporting success? And for before Arif speaks, I would like to explain to my audience, Sanja is a voluntary organization that supports hundreds and hundreds of athletes to pursue their sporting journey, and Arif is a part of it. And now I would like Arif to say a few words of what Sanja did in helping him realize his sporting success.
Yeah, Sanja actually was a game changer for me. Me and the person who started Sanja, Vasundhara. So
Mm,
we worked actually together for the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. It was also a part that had generated some funds to help me, help my training, assist me in also in travels. So Sanja played a great role. It actually it gave me a hope to stay alive in the game and work towards the betterment and development of the winter sport within me. And now Sanja has been always a part that actually helps many other athletes besides me to actually achieve our dreams as athletes. And it's doing a fantastic job. It's a lady with great vision, and I'm sure within the coming years, she would be helping the athletes who would be the medal contenders at the World Cup, Olympic Games. This is the mission of Sanja right now, and I'm happy that I'm also part of it.
mm,
So we have a great vision, and we
mm.
will definitely work towards the development. So
Okay.
as an athlete, I'm most of the time supported by the JSW family,
Mm,
and they really love winter sport, and they also do the winter sport themselves. They ski. So and I had the opportunity to be part of their organization as an athlete representing them, which is a great thing.
okay. So you mentioned about 2022 Winter Olympics. How was it for you when you qualified for your Olympic, your first Olympic Games? That was in Beijing, and how did you feel when you carried the tricolor at the opening ceremony?
It was amazing. The best part of it was in becoming one in a billion. You know, like
Mm,
when you have the whole world competing at
mm,
the Winter Olympic Games, you representing your country, 1.4, 1.5 billion people, and you are just one person carrying the tricolor, carrying the flag of your country, and marching through the people, through the high dignitaries there, and this is the best thing you can really achieve in life. You know, that moment that is unbelievable. It cannot be explained until it is felt.
okay. So I researched about winter sports in India, and to my a bit of a disappointment, I can say that only a handful of Indian athletes have qualified for the Winter Olympic Games, and you are one of those who have now got the chance to represent India twice in Winter Olympics. So, would like to want to know from you, where is India struggling in winter sports, and what can be done to make things better?
Infrastructure. That's
Okay.
the answer that really suits. We have the landscape, there are resources. It's just the infrastructure that needs to be corrected. There is some infrastructure already developed in the country, but it needs to be corrected, renovated, or maintained, I would say. So
Mhm.
the one of the biggest problems is that the maintenance. Like people do not work professionally towards winter sport in India. If you are given an opportunity to promote and develop the sport, but you hardly find it like convenient to your living standard, because we do not have an exposure with our neighboring country that how they run the winter sports. Let's talk about China. I was there for the Asian Winter Games. They had developed over 5 to 600 ski places where number of people, hundreds of thousands of people go there and enjoy their holidays, as well as there is a specific parts where only sports people go and train. So this is the neighboring country. And then when it comes to India, we have parts, and they're literally maintained. People need to work. Even the authorities in India need to look at the infrastructure. If they have to revive the infrastructure, this infrastructure that is built is quite long pending there and is not very well maintained during the winters. If you want to promote and develop the winter sports and the culture and show to the world that we are also part of it, then you need to work professionally, focus professionally, give opportunity to revive the infrastructure and see if there are people who are interested from international teams to come and train here as well, to organize international competitions. So I would say the infrastructure is one of the main reasons that India does not have like medal content athletes in the Olympic Games at the moment.
Okay, so we need to build our infrastructure for people to inspire the next generation of people to continue playing winter sports. Earlier this year, you qualified for your second Winter Olympic Games, which will be held in Italy next year. So, how was that feeling, and how have you been preparing since then?
Yeah, my preparations have been going on almost almost since then, since I qualified. Like qualification doesn't become so harder for you when you already touch that level.
Mm.
The preparations are there actually. It costs quite a lot of money to stay in Europe, to stay stick around the snowbound areas, to continue to keep up with your training. Suppose my budget nearly, if I stay 9 months, would cost over 1 CR. And
Okay.
and and to be honest, I don't have in 30 lakhs to fund my trainings. So
Mm.
instead, what I do, like I stay back in India and train physically, mentally, and do the other activities that will support when I start the season, would support my activities then. I just focus on building my body, correcting my biomechanics and my techniques physically. And this is the only thing I could do. Otherwise, if I want have the all time coaches with me, team there, and want to be on the snow and keep on training, I need more funding. There is no funding yet. Like literally, like the IAS has started now a fundraising campaign to support my dream, to
Mm.
support the Winter Olympic trainings and travel expenses. It's over online. And also Sanja is also part of it. They also want to see how they can help me to train further and before the Olympic Games come near. I would be very soon hoping that there will be corporates at the government, even in the tops, they would consider
Mm.
my case
Okay.
and provide some help that actually can help me to start early.
Mm. Okay. So, although you kind of answered my this question, but I would still like you to answer this very specifically. You aim to promote Kashmir as a winter sport destination of the world. Why?
Look, the if you see the Central European countries where this sport is done at a very large, even most of the European countries, it's done at a very large.
Mm.
When you visit these countries, the landscape, the first thing you feel is the landscape. The landscape is quite similar. The mountains are there, the rivers, the snow, the forests, everything is almost 90% similar to what we live in, to how we live on a land back in Kashmir. Kashmir is not really different than what is there in Central Europe. And their the sport in those places is winter. Now,
Mm.
so we talked about the Central European countries because
Mm.
I the promotion I want to do for Kashmir is because of its landscape. It's
Mm.
quite similar to what is in Europe, and this
Mm.
sport is played at a very large in Europe. and it can be easily done in Kashmir. That's why I want to promote India
mm,
as a winter sports destination, not only in Kashmir, then the places in Himachal Pradesh, places
mm,
in Uttarakhand where you have the higher mountains, and it's done there as well. There's a place called Oli, which
mm,
has infrastructure of an international standard,
mm,
but unfortunately it is not maintained.
mm,
I don't know which reasons are there, but we still have the national championships being held there,
mm,
maybe after every 2 years.
mm,
And you can relate our parts of our country to the parts of Central Europe, North American countries like Canada, US,
mm,
and also this South American countries. There are like places in Argentina, Chile, very similar. So you
mm,
also have a similar landscape. Why not to try promote and build the winter sports, and you
mm.
can grow your economy as well as your sport.
Mm. Somehow this winter sports have caught my imagination, and I came to know this event happening later this month, a short track ice skating, and I'm visiting Uttarakhand to see it and to learn more about what's happening in short track ice skating. That I've checked a few videos of it on YouTube, and it also comes across as a very physically intensive and mentally challenging sport. So I'm going there, heading
Yeah.
to Uttarakhand to know more about what that sport is and to learn more about what India is doing in this area. Okay, so would want to know if you end up winning a medal next year at Winter Olympics, what would it mean to you?
It would be a dream come true for, especially for me, for my family, for my country,
Mm,
because all I wanted that world have eyes on India as a winter sport. So this dream would be like coming true if this thing happens.
okay, okay. So I would like to wrap up this interview with two questions. How can India become a better sporting nation beyond winter sports? Winter sports is your core, but but beyond winter sports, what can be done for India to grow as a sporting nation?
The mindset of the people who are connected to the sport.
Okay.
It's just the mindset, it's the perception which is
Mm,
weakening us, which is somehow actually keeping us far behind the rest of the where the rest of the world is. We
mm,
have a very different mindset than the mindset of the Western society, because you see the Western society is dominating in all aspects
yeah.
because of their mindset, because of their focus, vision, and goal. What we have in India, we require a correct mindset. If we want to compete the rest of the world, we have to think how they actually think, how they adopt things, how they work.
Okay.
No doubt we are emotional people. We have emotions. They are there, like relations, emotions, they are there. But if we come out of our emotions
Mm,
and we want to compete and fight, we have to have a different mindset and compete by your mindset, not by what you have. There are so many things historically that are done at a greater height by Indians, and similar way we can do it in the sport, but all we require is a different mindset and different set of people who can support that mindset and grow that.
okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting to know. Okay. Finally, any message for young girls and boys who want to pursue skiing or pursue career in sports and want to play any sport and want to represent India at the highest level? Those who will watch this video, any message for them?
Yes, sure. Like we have this beautiful country with a lot of mountains and a lot of snow around, and the winter sport is one of the best sports that you can come and join and travel to rest of the world and show your skills that you also have the capacity to compete with them and to win among them and to
Mm,
be on top contenders at the world,
mm.
because we just have to utilize ourselves to our landscape and grow ourselves in an environment where we can be matching to the rest of the world.
Okay. Arif, thank you so much. Really grateful that you spared time for this interview. And I really hope, pray, and wish that you realize your ultimate dream of winning an Olympic medal. next year when you will be representing India, the whole country will be cheering for you. I will be cheering, and we really hope that India has never won a medal at winter sports, at winter Olympics, and you are the first person to flip the script. And I really hope that you train really well and you make your dream do come true. You realize your dream. Thank you so much. Really grateful. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Don't forget to spread the word that for the crowdfunding source.
Absolutely not. And that is one of my goals, to take your story to as many people as I can and through my platform, and to help you to realize your dream. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Mm,
Have a great
thank
day.
you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was my conversation with Mohammad Arif Khan. I hope you all are inspired by his journey. You all have learned something about his sport. You all have learned something. You have got to know what is happening in winter sports in India. I hope you will all like this video. If Please drop your comments in the comment section below. Follow my channel Prakhar Talks Sports. Like this video, share this video with your friends and family members on WhatsApp, through all your social media handles, and please keep waiting for the next video. Let's see what is next that I can bring to you all.